Welcome back to Language Access Academy. We are moving right along in our medical terminology journey. Today, we are tackling the letter O. There are some incredibly important root words in this section, especially relating to the eyes, bones, and ears. Let's get right into it. Starting us off is oat cell carcinoma, which is simply another term for small cell carcinoma. Obesity is a condition in which there is an excess of body fat. It is typically used to describe those who weigh at least 20% more than the maximum amount considered normal for their age, sex, and height. Obsessive-compulsive disorder is a mental disorder in which a person is obsessed with certain thoughts, leading them to repeatedly perform specific acts. For example, constantly washing their hands out of a fear of germs and dirt. Obstructive sleep apnea is the blockage of the airways during sleep, causing breathing to stop for very short periods of time. It is commonly caused by the excessive relaxation of muscles at the back of the throat. An occlusion is the blocking of an opening or passageway in the body. Occult blood refers to blood in the feces that can be detected only by chemical tests. An occupational disease is a disease that occurs as a result of factors in the workplace. To help patients recover from workplace injuries or other health events, we use occupational therapy, which is treatment to relearn physical skills lost as a result of an illness or accident. Next, let's look at a few terms related to the senses. Ocular describes something related to the eyes. The oculomotor nerves are the nerves that stimulate the movement of the eyeball. Meanwhile, the olfactory nerves are the nerves that play a role in our sense of smell. Moving to the brain, an oligodendroglioma is a rare type of cancerous brain tumor that occurs most commonly in the cerebrum. In reproductive health, oligohydramnios is an unusually small amount of amniotic fluid surrounding the fetus in the uterus, which can lead to complications with the pregnancy. Oligospermia is a low level of sperm in the semen, and it is one of the main causes of infertility in men. Oncogenes are genes that, when altered by environmental factors or viruses, can cause abnormal cell growth. An oocyte is an egg cell that has not developed completely. An oophorectomy is the surgical removal of one or both ovaries. It is often used to treat the growth of ovarian cysts or tumors. Open heart surgery is any operation in which the heart is stopped temporarily, and a machine is used to take over its function of pumping blood throughout the body. Now we have a group of terms starting with ophthalm, which relates to the eye. Ophthalmia is severe inflammation of the eyes. An ophthalmologist is a doctor who specializes in the care of the eyes and treats eye diseases and disorders. Ophthalmoplegia is the partial or total loss of the ability to move the eyes, and ophthalmoscopy is the examination of the inside of the eye using a lighted viewing instrument. An opportunistic infection is an infection by organisms that would normally be harmless to a healthy person, but cause infection in those with a weakened immune system. Examples include persons with HIV or chemotherapy patients. Here are a few more eye-related terms starting with opt. Optic means pertaining to the eyes. An optician is a person who specializes in the making and adjustment of eyeglasses and contact lenses. The optic nerves are the pair of nerves that carry visual information from the retina to the brain. And optic neuritis is the inflammation of the optic nerve, often causing a partial loss of vision. Oral contraceptives are drugs taken in pill form to prevent pregnancy. They contain the synthetic hormones progesterone and estrogen. The orbit is the socket in the skull that contains the eyeball, along with its blood vessels, nerves, and muscles. Next, we have a few terms related to the testicles. An orchiectomy is the surgical removal of one or both of the testicles. An orchiopsy is an operation to correct an undescended testicle. And orchitis is the inflammation of a testicle, which can be caused by infection with the mumps virus. Organ donation is an agreement to allow one or more organs to be removed and transplanted into someone else. An organism is any single functioning form of life. An orgasm is the involuntary contraction of genital muscles experienced at the peak of sexual excitement. Orphan drugs are drugs used to treat rare diseases. They are not normally produced because their potential sales are so small. Orthopnea is breathing difficulty experienced while lying flat, which can be a symptom of heart failure or asthma. An orthotic is a device used to correct or control deformed bones, muscles, or joints. Osgood-Schlatter disease is the painful enlargement and inflammation of the area of the shinbone just below the knee, usually occurring in adolescent boys. Osmosis is the process of passage of the solvent portion of a lesser concentrated solution through a semi-permeable membrane into a higher concentrated solution until the two solutions are equal in concentration. It plays an important role in water distribution in the body. Ossification is the formation and maintenance of bone. Speaking of bones, get ready for a deep dive into the prefix osteo, which means bone. Osteitis is the inflammation of bone. Osteitis deformans is simply another name for Paget's disease. We mentioned osteoarthritis earlier, which is also known as degenerative arthritis. An osteoblast is a cell that forms bone. Osteochondritis dissecans is bone degeneration inside of a joint, causing small pieces of bone and cartilage to become detached. Osteochondritis juvenilis is the inflammation of a growing section of bone in a child or adolescent. An osteochondroma is a noncancerous tumor made up of bone and cartilage. An osteoclast is a cell that breaks down unwanted bone tissue. It also refers to a medical device used for fracturing a bone to correct a deformity. Osteodystrophy is defective bone formation. Osteogenesis imperfecta is a genetic disorder in which bones are abnormally fragile, leading to multiple breaks and deformity. Osteolysis is the softening and destruction of bone. An osteoma is a noncancerous bone tumor. Osteomalacia is the loss of minerals and softening of bones because of a lack of vitamin D in children. This condition is known as rickets. Osteomyelitis is the inflammation of bones and bone marrow because of an infection, usually caused by bacteria. Osteoporosis is a rare hereditary disorder in which bones become harder and more dense, causing them to break more easily. An osteophyte is an outgrowth of bone near a joint. Osteoporosis is a condition in which bones become less dense, more brittle, and fracture easily. An osteosarcoma is a cancerous bone tumor. And finally, osteosclerosis is an abnormal increase in the density and hardness of bone. Moving from bones to ears, the prefix oto means ear. Otalgia is the medical term for an earache. You might hear the abbreviation OTC remedy, which stands for over-the-counter remedy. Otitis externa is inflammation of the outer ear due to an infection. It is commonly called swimmer's ear. Otitis media is inflammation of the middle ear between the eardrum and inner ear because of the spread of an infection from the nose, sinuses, and throat. Otorrhea is a discharge from an inflamed ear. Otosclerosis is progressive deafness caused by bone formation around structures in the middle ear. Ototoxicity is the harmful effect that some drugs have on the organs or nerves in the ears, which can lead to hearing and balance problems. Outpatient treatment refers to medical attention that does not include an overnight stay at a hospital. The ovaries are two almond-shaped glands located at the opening of the fallopian tubes on both sides of the uterus. They produce eggs and the sex hormones estrogen and progesterone. An overdose is an excessively large dose of a drug, which can lead to a coma and death. An over-the-counter remedy is a medication that can be purchased without a physician's prescription. Ovulation is the development and release of the egg from the ovary, which usually occurs halfway through a woman's menstrual cycle. An ovum is simply another term for an egg cell. Now let's finish the letter O with a breath of fresh air. Oxidation is a chemical reaction involving active sources of oxygen, called oxygen-free radicals, that damages cells. Oximetry is the determination of the amount of oxygen in the blood by measuring the amount of light transmitted through an area of skin. Oxygen is a gas that is colorless, odorless, and tasteless. It is essential to almost all forms of life. Oxygen-free radicals are active forms of oxygen found in pollution, cigarette smoke, and radiation that can damage cells and are believed to play a role in the aging process in cancer. Oxytocin is a hormone produced in the pituitary gland that causes contraction of the uterus during childbirth and the stimulation of milk flow during breastfeeding. And finally, ozone is a poisonous form of oxygen that is present in the Earth's upper atmosphere, where it helps to screen the Earth from damaging ultraviolet rays.